Welcome back to the Cover to Cover Girls Book Club podcast. I am your host, Hallie Bell. I'm here with our other host.
Hi,
I don't know what to
everybody.
call you.
I'm Michelle, the other
This is
one.
Michelle. We're equal rights over here.
Yeah, there's no discrimination.
There's no discrimination.
There's no control.
There's no control with this podcast. It's pretty much out of control.
That's exactly how I would describe our podcast, out of control.
And this episode, I'm really sorry, but we're going to be talking about Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown. And I'm really sorry.
No, I'm
sorry.
deeply sorry. I'm so sorry for everyone who has to hear this.
But at least maybe you'll get a laugh. We can talk
hopefully.
about what went wrong. And if you liked this book, I really want to know
what's wrong with you. I'm sorry. That was too much.
And here's the thing. I think I'm just going to kick it into gear.
Go, do it. I'm ready.
It makes me question Hannah Brown herself.
Yes, I wrote
because she's trying to write a very selfless, like she's trying to write someone who's supposed to be selfless.
Someone who's learning
all she comes across is as selfish. Like she's supposed to be a selfless character. It's mentioned several times that she puts her friends first. She is extremely worried about her friends and like considering her friends. And just for some reason, I just never saw a single account of her being selfless.
No, literally.
She's very selfish. And that's what makes me worried about Hannah Brown, because she was trying to write a selfless character, but yet she couldn't.
I'm sorry. I can only laugh at this book. First things first, I need everyone to know that I finished the book before Hallie Bell, which I think is very important because I usually wait till the last minute, but Hallie Bell just finished it. And second,
someone will always be coming in hot with their read.
Do you see those balloons? How does that happen? I don't know what this is.
Okay. Is Apple like wanting to like pick us up or something? Because we're amazing?
No, it is. It is Apple. I was literally on the call with my therapist the other day and I was like crying, and then it did that thing but with a thumbs up and I was like, no.
Not the time.
I don't know how to fix it. For those of you listening, it's that new Apple update where you're on FaceTime and it just like sends emojis and like things that it thinks are correlating to your call when it's not.
From
like
one
balloons
old
just popped
person
up.
To a young person, tell me how to turn it off.
I don't know.
Because I don't like it.
I don't like it, and I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know how to turn it on. But anywho, my second thing was, should we give a summary of the book, or was there a summary? I don't even know. I don't know how I would even give a summary.
Sure, I'll do it.
You'll attempt it.
There's this girl named Emma, and she has father issues. Her dad walked out on her and her family, and she has a nemesis named Fen, who they have like several close encounters of getting together. That's why it's called Mistakes We Never Made.
Mm-hmm.
It details each of the almost mistakes that they make with each other as she is prepping to get ready for her best friend's wedding, Sybil, who has run away from her wedding 3 days prior, and her and Finn are forced to track her down and bring her back. And along the way,
that's it. That's it.
Along the way, they finally met. Okay. I don't mind a storyline like this. I don't. But if you know the context, the characters that she was trying to write were not achieved.
No. I think the characters were the worst part of the. No, there was no good part about this book, but I didn't feel anything for any of the characters except for Sybil's parents. I loved Sybil's parents, but we'll get back to that.
They're the only ones with a level head about this.
Yes. Amen.
And I just want to. There's some incredibly, I felt insensitive
Yes.
moments written
Yes.
that I felt were not delivered in the right way.
Ooh,
There's
like what?
smoking during pregnancy jokes, which I just think are not funny and
Yeah.
should never, ever, ever, ever be talked about. Like, let's never put that in a book. Let's never like
Just don't even think about
make
it.
a fictional person be pregnant and then like joke about like maybe smoking
And
or not, because that's just like nuts to me. And then also there's a lot of like dabbling on race.
yes, yes, yes. I wrote this down. I literally wrote this
What
down.
did you say about
I
this?
said, why does she keep bringing up, like, I just said, why does she keep bringing up race? That's all I
It
wrote.
because, and I didn't know if we were going to go here, but she did
No,
have
we're going here.
a moment where she was going to get canceled because she made like a racist comment. Like people
Who,
thought she
Hannah
was being
Brown?
racist. Yes.
Oh.
And to me, I'm just like, I think it's great when people educate themselves, but like then like maybe leave that topic to other experts.
Mm-hmm. Like, there was
It
once,
felt very unresearched to me and felt like it was forcibly put into the book
yes,
and
yes.
honestly came back as offensive
I agree
because
completely.
quite frankly I forgot that Fen was black until like again
Yes.
like halfway through the book, when and it was like when they were in Vegas and he said that he didn't want to fight anymore, which
Yep.
also was like another thing that I was like, that's kind of like stereotyping as well.
Yeah. I didn't like, this is so niche and so silly, but the scene where they're like sitting at a bar or something, and she's like, there is a black French couple sitting next to us. And I literally wrote, why did she have to say that they were black? And then, like, a few lines later, it's like Finn felt, they talked to Finn or something like that. And I was like, why
Yeah.
did she feel then? Like, that was so odd to me. Like, and I listened to this book. I didn't read any of it. I listened to the whole thing. And I just like the way the narrator said it too. I was like, that didn't seem comfortable. Like,
Yeah, it seems all around inappropriate. I like I am so for like interracial couples in books and portraying them, but I just felt that Hannah Brown was definitely forcing this
yes.
because of like her previous like troubles with expressing that she's
Yeah.
not racist, and so she like inserted this in her book to like I don't
Hot
know, like it
take.
just felt icky to me.
No, it did me too. I wrote down the exact same thing. That's wild.
Wow.
Thank
So
God we're
that
on
I
the
didn't
same
love
page.
that. And the smoking during pregnancy just really got to me as well. Like I just was like, why is this keep being bringing up? Like she brought it up 3 times
So
that
many times.
the pregnant woman lit a cigarette, but she said she wasn't gonna smoke it.
Yeah. It was like a placebo. Like she just wanted to like feel it.
And it's not funny. And then at the end of the book, she was like, I promise I won't pressure you about
Yeah.
like not smoking during
No.
pregnancy. And I was like, you
Hallie,
should
the
absolutely pressure someone not to smoke during pregnancy.
yeah. Can I?
Always.
This is kind of unrelated, but doesn't it make you wonder, like, because this is like her core, Emma is the character, it's her core friend group from different parts, like college, childhood, whatever. Doesn't it make you wonder if any of these are Hannah, if it's based off of Hannah Brown's friends in real life? And like, I'm wondering who's pregnant, like, who, because this isn't something that you just like think of. Like, did
And
this
it
happen?
felt as though Emma was Hannah to me, and
Do
that
you
may not be the
think?
case. That may not be the case because she's like fiery and like tries to stand up for her friends.
Yeah,
But to me, she just, I mean, I highlighted so many lines and I kind of want to go through them
do
of
it,
just
please.
showing that she's extremely selfish, this character. And it
Yes.
just is so funny that she thinks
She,
that this, like, there's so many remarks from her friends that are like, you're always doing things for others. And I'm like,
no, she's
I
not.
just, you have not done one thing for another person this whole book.
I agree completely. Like the first thing I wrote down here was, God, why is she so defensive? Like
It, and
she's selfish and
also,
she's defensive.
the behaviors expressed on the road trip. And
Oh,
I
she's
like, again, like,
aggressive.
I love a cheesy rom-com. Like, it doesn't always have to be realistic for me, but I do think that there is a new standard in rom-coms where like Abby Jim is, where it's normalizing characters like getting help, like,
Yeah.
or like normalize, like just holding characters to a higher standard, if you
Yeah.
will. And
And no one's doing
after
that.
after this road trip, Emma, like, she wrecks a car. She throws a burrito at like a
At
person,
a celebrity.
at a
She's
celebrity.
blatantly aggressive.
She's
Like,
blatantly aggressive. She almost gets in a fight in Vegas. She's drinking nonstop. She has just made every single bad decision. She's about to lose her job, and she blames it on like a miscommunication. And to me, I'm just like, if I were Finn at the end of
red
this
flag, red
road
flag, red
trip,
flag.
I would be like, you need some help.
Well, also, no, we can't say that for Finn though, too, because he is going along with it. He's like, get in the car, let's drive to Arizona. And I was mapping it out. This, like, as I was listening to it, I was like, how far are they driving?
It's not even realistic, I don't think,
No,
timeline
no, it's
wise.
not. It's not. By the time they stop for gas and food, it is not realistic.
And again, I'm okay with things not being completely realistic, but this was like a 3-day timeline. If it could have been a week, I feel like she would have let the characters breathe, and their actions wouldn't have just been so like crazy to the
Disgusting.
reader.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would just given like things some more air, and she's trying to squeeze in these backstories in between chapters.
I wrote that too. I said, sorry, I keep saying like, my gosh. I said, my gosh, drop the freaking prom thing. Like, stop talking about the backstories. Like,
Because that's absolutely ridiculous. Her character, like, not even giving him a chance to talk and say, my
Mhm.
dad just got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
No, this is one of the worst female main characters I've ever read in an entire in my entire life.
And again, it's just, I wrote down like a million times because they're like, we haven't even eaten, we're road warriors. But they stop like 3 or 4 times for coffee and food and gas. Like, it just wasn't even accurate.
No, no, no,
Like,
no.
they kept making statements that, like, oh, you never think about yourself. And I'm just like, all
No.
she's saying is thinking about herself.
All she ever does is think about herself, and it's terrible.
And also,
Terrible.
what really, like, along with the timeline, when they walk in to the casino and they like try to eat at the restaurant, before the character even like, I'm like, she's wearing gym shorts and a tank top, and she supposedly had sunstroke, which would mean she's burnt and like overheated. And she's walking in, and then somehow she's able to come out looking like $1,000,000. Like it just
Ugh.
like give the reader some more credit, right?
Yeah.
Like we can
We're not
picture
dumb.
her. You wrote this scene where she like fainted, and it's in the same day.
Mm-hmm. When she has to go shopping and stuff, and I'm like, none of this is making sense. And then I don't.
It's in the same day. I'm like, shouldn't she? You just said she's like her nose is peeling with sunburn,
It doesn't
and then
make
all of a sudden that
sense.
just goes away.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think. And then the goalpost, and she even remarks.
I'm so
on this
glad
on
you're
page
reading your
179.
highlights. Wait, what?
I have so many highlights. She marks on this page on 179. I keep moving the goalpost further and further because they're like, if we can just get here, if we can just get here, if we can just get here.
Be realistic.
And I think like at some point you're going to lose the reader. Like what, like there's no real pressure if the pressure of the goalposts don't exist.
Yes. If this brings me back to my expectation versus outcome debate, Halle Bell.
What do you mean?
Do you remember we were talking about this the other day, and we were talking about like having expectations in life versus having an outcome in life? This book, do you remember that? I don't know. We had this.
Yes.
We were sending audio messages about
it.
But I am the type of person where like I will act a certain way knowing that I'm getting a certain outcome. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And this whole book, like I didn't want to finish it because I felt like I wasn't even getting an outcome. Like I wasn't getting anything from the book, and I knew that it would disappoint me. Like I knew that the outcome wouldn't even be good.
I'm so glad you bring that up because yeah, she doesn't even wrap up Sybil's
Nope.
story.
Nope. I wrote
Because
that
she's
down.
leaving it open for a sequel.
Why? I don't
And
want to read
to
it.
me, I don't care because I'm not going to read it, but this was your first real chance to like hook people, and you see this with Tessa Bailey. She doesn't like leave a story hanging
Yeah.
like that. Like, I mean, she like offers like a little bit of closure. She doesn't like the main plot isn't totally dangled. Like Sybil was supposed to be the main story.
I wrote down at one point, I'm like trying to look at my notes. I wrote down at one point, like, why are we not hearing more about Sybil? Because that's what I cared about. Like,
And she's like running around, and it's like this mystery. And I get that she's gonna leap for the sequel, but I beg of her and her publicist to please don't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything higher than a 3-star for this book.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I haven't looked, honestly. It was funny. One of my friends posted like her book club, and I responded, and I was like, "Oh, what book are you guys reading?" And she said, Hannah Brown's new book. I absolutely hated it. And then I was like, oh my God, that's what Halliwell and I are covering on the podcast.
Because it's just so baffling. And I want to touch on the dad toxic relationship, staying uninvited at her absent dad's house overnight with her love interest, on like making him sleep in a recliner.
I think that whole scene was inappropriate. Like, if you feel this horrible towards your father, you should not just be showing up at his house.
No. And I get wanting closure, but this is not the time, because you were supposed to be focusing on, like, she keeps being like, I'm sorry, like, you're trying to track down Sybil. I'm like, I don't feel like you've made any effort to track down Sybil. Like,
no.
If you had tried an ounce harder, like, maybe you could have.
Yeah. Let me say something else. I agree completely. I agree completely. You know who I feel the worst for in this book? Actually, guess.
I guess Jamie. It just baffles me. He's like this great guy, and they don't even touch on Jamie and Sybil's love story. Nope. They touch on all these other love stories that Sybil's had, and yet we don't really even know who Jamie is or how they like came to be or anything. Like, it's just a complete like.
It was the only thing that kept me reading this book was hopes that I would learn something about Jamie and their love life and figure out where her head at, why she left the wedding. And I didn't get any of that. And I just felt so bad for him the whole time. And he, like, this was the worst line. I wish I wrote it down, but worst thing I've ever read in a book. Like, she makes a comment that's like, basically, you need someone who can deal with your chaos. And Jamie, they were basically saying, like, Jamie would put up with whatever chaos Sybil put him through. And I was like, do you guys not see that that's not okay? That's not okay.
And also, do you even like Sybil?
Yeah, are you even her friend? I don't think so.
I don't think so, because all you do is put her down this whole book. And, like, does Sybil even like you or consider you a friend? Because, like, to me, she's like, keep me grounded. I'm running away. And then, like, she's like, Sybil just runs away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then she's like, but she's just so beautiful and it's just who she is. And like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, like, they're putting down actually Emma's best qualities, which is like holding friends accountable and like, I don't know, making them aspire to be something. Like, they're like, oh, she's like, I really shouldn't be doing that. I really shouldn't be like trying to get my friend to get married after she committed to it. Like, I'm like, no, you should.
Oh my God.
In my opinion, like, I get you can't control others, and like that's I guess the message she was trying to get across. And like sometimes you got to focus on yourself. But listen, that's the last thing this society needs is a book saying, forget about your friend and her wedding. Focus on your unstable love romance.
With this 16-year-old boy.
Right? Like, people don't need this type of book. This book is so self-involved every single step of the way.
Yeah, this was not
depicted as selflessness.
What do you think the theme of this book was? I'm dying to hear.
It's honestly focus on yourself. Focus on your own happiness. That's exactly what America needs to hear.
Well, now let me rebuttal, and that's my favorite part of this book, and I mean that with complete sarcasm. I hated the fact that her and Finn were on debate team, and they keep bringing up that they like Oh, is
The
that this
cringiest
book? That is
moments.
this book, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, good. She she's
The
like,
cringe.
and we're good at arguing. We know how to argue with each other. And I'm like, oh my God, this isn't high school debate team. Just talk to each other. But like this, like I get it. I get needing to focus on yourself. Trust me, I get that more than
No,
anyone
I
right
do
now.
get that.
Like
But it's like
you
kind of
need
the last message that
it's the
anybody in America needs to hear.
and this isn't even the way I agree with you, but that's not even the way this book was like depicted. Like,
Depicted. No, because this woman needs to focus, actually does need to focus on others.
mm-hmm.
Emma.
Emma, Hannah Brown. I'm kidding. It just makes
I
me
mean,
wonder.
it just makes you wonder because, like, is that what Hannah Brown, like, does she really think that this is selfless or is she, like, poking fun at us readers?
And
Because either one is despicable.
I want to know what her friends that are reading this book, I want to know what they told her. Were they like, oh my God, great book, girl? Like, if you wrote this book, Halle Bell, I would have been like, that was a waste of my time. And here are all the things that are wrong with it.
Thank you. Thank you. Because, like, it's not even about just like making a first attempt, getting a story out there. It's that I feel as though her personality is seeping into the book and it is like not pretty.
No, and it's not to bring it back to The Bachelorette, but why is she writing a romance? I'm like, if like she could have, what I thought that this book would be was like her, like what's the word I'm thinking of? An homage to her failed love life,
And that
and
would have been better.
that would have been better. And like she's now in this wonderful relationship and they love each other and they seem so perfect. And I was like, this girl can write a good romance. I had such high hopes for this because she has been through so much in the last like
She's been
five
through so
years.
much. And
And it
listen, I wasn't
wasn't
like
there.
a Hannah Brown hater before this. And
Oh, I'm a
honestly, I
huge
was like
fan.
kind of like a sympathizer. But
Yeah,
after this book, I'm like, I'm really questioning.
I agree. I agree completely.
And that's saying something. Like if she's turning people another direction with this book, it ain't good.
Let me just say, I also think, and I don't mean this as hate towards these kinds of readers, but I also don't think, Halle Bell, that the people who are the typical readers for
Yeah.
this book are having this deep of thoughts about it as we are.
But
Like,
I
I,
consume
I
these
don't
books
know.
and I love these like I love like again, I love a cheesy romance. It doesn't have to all be realistic for me, but it at least has to be consistent.
Yeah, and that was not this,
And that can't like insult me as a reader. Like I know she's in gym shorts.
you're not
Like
gonna let that die.
I'm not. Like I'm like I know she can't drive to Vegas, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, back to Southern Cal in
I-
like a day and a half.
It's just unrealistic. And what you said earlier, it felt like every aspect of this book wasn't researched.
No,
There was not
it was
one
just kind
thought
of
put
thrown
behind.
together. And maybe like her poor attempt to like write a steam, which let's just talk about the steam because
Is
it
there
honestly
steam?
just cringe. And
I
sorry, I hate using that word because it cringe is cringe, but
yeah.
when the rooftop, the pool.
Ew.
Okay, let's start at the pool
Ugh.
because it's the
Ugh.
prom is the first mistake, pool is the second mistake, and the pool is like it's just like two teenagers like being yucky.
Being chuggy. My thing, this whole book, I just had a really funny thought. And it is that this book was written steam part, spice part, the plot, the romance, the way women think. This whole book was, it seems like a dumb man wrote it and was like, this is going to hook the ladies. And it didn't.
You're so right. Maybe it's Heyman Brown.
Maybe, maybe. Maybe, but I didn't even think that the spice scenes, A, it was a waste of my time. B, it wasn't well written. C, I hated it.
Yeah, and the rooftop scene when they go like take it a step further. It was just so, and then like Finn stops it before it like turns into like the step.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that was really realistic because he goes, "Oh, like, oh, you have a boyfriend. We better stop."
Thank God. Thank God someone has some sense. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, it just it seemed like he was putting the moves on her. Then he got her to say
Uh,
yes, and then he
he had the
like makes
clarity.
her, shames her, almost like, "Oh, well, you have a boyfriend, and I'm in an open
And I'm in an
relationship."
open relationship.
And I was like, you know what, Emma? This guy ain't worth it. And especially after what happens at the wedding.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
I'm not a grudge holder, but like, this guy's just not. And she's like, he's changed. And I'm
Show
like,
me.
in 3 days? I know the
Ugh.
Caden Dalton was 4 years ago, but like, you need to give it more than 3 days to see if he's changed.
It's so funny that Katie Dalton is the only character I remember, and she's not even a character. It's just a name. It's just a name. I'm like Katie Dalton's wedding, or like her whatever it was.
Oh, and I highlighted because she puts every single one of her friends down. Like,
Oh
she's
yeah.
like, Nikki tries to dive in too deep with stuff when I'm not ready to talk about it. And I was like, isn't that exactly what you do to all your friends?
Yeah.
And
Push
she was
them
like,
and
I
push them
need
and push
Sybil
them.
right now because I just want to go and blow off some steam. And I was like, you are a fair weather friend. I don't know how you hang on to 4 friends from middle school, but like,
This ain't it.
because I would have said adios to you in the 8th grade.
Yeah. And the way Sybil acted in high school, the way they acted to each other in high school is awful too. And like, I'll be honest, if my 8th grade crush or my prom crush did this, like, I then at 16 would have had enough brains to be like, well, these are bad friends, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
No, these are 100.
this
It's
isn't a
like,
good.
if it's all true that give him a second to like tell him or that the dad is like as terminal
Yes.
cancer. And then it's also like this hanging thing that like Sybil has like an underlying medical issue.
Yeah, what? What is that?
He was like, she was at the hospital. She'll have to tell you about it.
It's
And then
her
we never
story.
figure it out. And
I'm banging my head against
and
the chair.
I really want Hannah Brown to know that I don't care. And I won't read a second.
No.
You
Sorry.
haven't hooked me. You made me frustrated. And that's the difference. Like, you can hook a reader to like get them to read your second book. Like, oh, I at least want to see what happens. Then you can frustrate a reader where you like leave out so much information that you're like, I just don't even care. Like, you're just like leaving me hanging.
Mm-hmm. I want to. Who are the publishers? Let me talk to the publishers. Let me talk to the editors.
Yeah, because it just does seem like it needed to like have a couple of look throughs and be like, listen, we need to actually write some selfless moments for
Yeah.
Emma. Because like throwing the burrito in that guy's face, it felt very selfish to me. It was like, you can't control your rage. You're agitated that you're here with Finn. So you acted out and you threw a burrito at that guy's face, not for your friend, but because you can't control your emotions.
Oh, she's totally got anger issues. Like, even they're in the car, and there were multiple times where they're in the car, and she just starts yelling at Finn, or like something happened, and I'm like, girlie, calm
And this is the
down.
oh my gosh. This is the saddest sentiment. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
I
please.
literally just
That's all
found
this
this
is
one
us
and I,
interrupting
like,
each other.
This is the one I wanted to really read. She's like debating. She's like, would Sybil cheat on Jamie on their wedding weekend? I'd like to think she would never go through with anything extreme. Freak out with uncertainty? Sure. Flirt with some hot strangers? Probably.
Probably.
Now, I hate to be like the mom in this, but like flirting is cheating to me.
Yeah.
And can't we just like set that standard?
Yeah, no, this is when I had the outcome versus expectation debate with my friend that same night. We had
Wow.
we had a cheating conversation, and he said it becomes cheating. Oh, what was the line? And I thought about it in this book. It was like, it becomes cheating when the expectation or when the intent is like whatever it was. And I was like,
known.
and I was like, that is exactly right. That is
I
exactly
agree
right.
completely.
Sorry, I didn't quote that
If I
very
found
well.
out, and if this was reversed, if this were a guy out flirting before his wedding night, he's a jerk, and
He's
you
a
shouldn't
jerk.
marry him.
Yeah. But
And
if
like
she
that's
does it,
not.
it's like, probably.
She's just like normalizing really toxic behaviors that I
Oh, yeah.
hate, and it really bothers me because I think that they're part of her personality. Like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
drinking the night, like after staying up all night, they're like chugging tequila in a hammock, and then they're supposed to get up and drive the next morning. Like it's not even possible, A, but B, like you definitely would still be driving under the influence.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And also, oh, wait, remind me the tequila. We have to come back to that. Also, I want to talk about the unrealisticness. Is that a word? The of
Yes.
of doing the deed in a hammock?
Yes, I was picturing it the whole time. I was like,
No, and
there's no way.
the way it's not that it's unrealistic, but the way she was describing it, I was like,
In a cocoon hammock, a hammock like a
oh,
cocoon one, no.
I was like, this isn't it's not working. But going
Like a
back to
wide set hammock.
yeah,
That's
and
like
that's
maybe.
preset has the things like pulling it. Maybe. But I'm still on her anger issues. Going back to the very beginning of this book, to the tequila, and I'm sorry I'm eating a gummy worm right now.
Oh, that sound it looked delicious.
Look at this bag of gummy worms.
I
I'm really into
wish.
gummies right now. It's like one of the very first scenes of the book where they are taking tequila shots and she harasses the bartender over all these things and then she steals a lime from this like beautiful centerpiece. And I almost put the book down there. I was like, this is so
I
horrible.
did too. It just and then I just became a power through mentality for me because like
Yep.
we had to finish it.
And oh my God.
Otherwise, I would have abandoned the book. And if anybody listens to this, like you haven't finished, like don't bother
Don't even
because it
bother
ends
because
and
you
it's
don't.
not even wrapped up.
No, you don't even find out anything good. Actually, I take that back. There was one good thing that happened in this book, and what do you think it is that I wrote down?
Hmm, I don't know.
Finn bought his parents' house, the famous
Oh yes,
architectural
I did
house.
like that.
I liked that. That was very nice. That was it.
And he was like, because you asked me to, like, Finn does have some good traits,
Oh
but
yeah.
they are just like not convincing based on these actions.
You know what he's doing? He love bombs Emma every few
Yeah,
years.
you're right.
Every few years he love bombs her and he's like for 2 weeks shows her how great he is. But she doesn't
Yes.
ever give him any time to talk also.
And then he finds that he can't get anyone else, so he like comes with the intent in this wedding, I think, to get her.
Yeah, no, I
And
agree. I
knowing that
agree.
she will eventually cave.
Now, did you think that there was ever anything there with Sybil and Finn?
Yes. And if you were to ask me, do I think they hooked up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
So how does that sit with everyone?
Should we, Halle Bella, what are your good thoughts about this book?
It's honestly really hard. Like honestly, like I just keep looking at my stuff and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I guess like I really don't I think maybe because Love By is kind of like Love Island.
Yeah,
That was like a funny reference to me.
uh, sure.
Sure. Like I that's
You
literally
pick,
how deep I'm digging.
you picked the smallest, most minuscule thing, and you're like, that'll do. Well,
That'll do.
can we do some
That's my plan.
can we do something that I like to do on my own, and that is
Mm,
rate. I want to rate the plot, the characters, the writing, and the theme all on a scale of 1 to 5.
okay.
So, okay, so
The
the
plot is
plot.
like a 3 because
Exactly.
like it could be
It could have
something
been
like
great.
good.
Okay, I agree totally. I give it a 3.
Okay, what's the next category?
Plot could have been good, wasn't well executed. Plot writing. Well, wait, was this your first by Hannah Brown? Because I think she's written another book.
No, okay, that was what was so crazy. She's written a couple.
No. Who are these?
And
Who are these
like, of
editors?
course, like Bless This Mess is the most
It's like a
famous one, which I didn't read. It's like a self-help book, I
yeah.
guess. Which I will not read
No, I was just gonna say
again.
I might read that to see if the traits that she is saying match
Oh,
Emma's.
honestly, like let me know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but you could do
No, I don't want to. I don't want to waste my time. Okay, the writing. What are you
Let's be
rating the
honest.
writing?
We have valuable reading things on our schedule.
We
She has a
do.
book that's called If I Could Tell You, and it has 3 stars on here. And
Oh,
Mistakes We Never Made has 4.3 stars,
who are
which
those
I'm
people
like
on?
is generous, but also like I just don't know.
I have something else to
It
say
seems
on
like
that, but
beefed
I'll
by
come
her
back.
publishing team.
Well, okay, that's what I was gonna say. I think that she's also getting like way too much credit, and her publishers and editors gave her way too much leeway just because she is famous. Like
Yeah,
they let her get away with stuff because of her fame.
I agree. I agree. Like it just shouldn't have made it past the desk.
No,
Okay,
no,
wait,
no,
what
no.
was the next category?
Wait, you did. What do you give the writing? I'm giving it like a 1.
Oh yeah, like a 1-0.
Okay, the characters.
A 0.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
like
gonna.
any of them.
I don't like any of them, and none of them were well developed. Yeah, okay, agreed. I'll give them 1, a 0.
A
I don't.
1. A 1-0.
Okay, and then the theme.
I hate this theme.
I only did this because
And
I
not
wanted,
because I don't think self-love is important. Let me
but
clarify
that's
that.
not this book. It's
It's
not
just
the book.
not this book. I love self-love and I do think it's very important to like treasure yourself and know and do things for yourself because a lot of America is in a busy place right now and like maybe neglecting themselves, but like also a
Yeah,
lot of people in America are also thinking that they are in a busy place right now and neglecting themselves, but they're not.
yeah, I agree completely. Yeah. Sorry. I'll be honest, I wanted to do this with you because I wanted to hear you absolutely hate on a book for the first time ever. Like, you have not one positive thing to say, and I'm
I
loving
went
it.
in and I
Yeah.
just went in with guns ablazing. Like
Guns
I like started off and I was like, I'm
blazing.
questioning Hannah Brown.
You're like, I have a question on her character. No, I think, like, I am a Hannah Brown fan. Like, I thought she was such an entertaining bachelorette. I always liked how she, like, stood up for herself. And, like, I thought she had great self love. And I was expecting so much out of this book.
I was
Actually, I
expecting it to
wasn't.
be a
I
good
wasn't.
read.
I
I
thought,
no,
yeah.
I was
I,
expecting it to be like a fun summer read that like I would be like, oh, this is a new one, fun one for everyone this summer.
yep, nope. I thought it would at least be entertaining.
It wasn't even that for me. And wait, what was the third category that we rated?
The writing, the plot, the characters, and the theme.
The writing, the plot. Yeah. I thought I had like one that I was like, maybe I'll give it a 2, but like now that I
No.
can't.
You know what I will say is I liked how she made every character very memorable. Like, I think she did a great job of
Oh yeah.
she gave every character very, like, well, that was it. She's very, very descriptive. And I thought it was like over the top at some points, but then I was like, it was one of the only books where I could remember like who was who looked like what, who was dating who, because she
You're
was so
right.
descriptive. And I think she did a really good job of like painting a picture.
I think you're 100% right. And
And that, sorry, keep going.
no, I think you made a good point. And I'm going to say there were a couple of funny lines
Mm,
that I like kind of like giggled at. Like the reverent jokes were like a little funny to me.
yeah.
Um but some of the description like you said just didn't make sense. Like she's describing a 16-year-old smelling of wood smoke and lavender. And that just can't be. That just can't be because I've smelt a lot of 16-year-old boys in my life. I
And they don't
never
smell like
smelled
that.
wood smoke and lavender
They smell like cigarettes and bad decisions. That's what they smell
and
like.
body odor.
Yeah. Not lavender. And at 16, I didn't even know what lavender was.
And what exactly is wood smoke? Oh, and the description again, I'll counter with this. The burrito throw,
uh,
she's like, and it lands all over him. I'm like, a burrito is wrapped up in tinfoil. And like throwing
es-
it just would like plop
it
him,
would have
right?
hurt. It would have given him a pump knot. Like it wouldn't have like exploded. And especially a
Like
breakfast burrito.
if
Like
the
it doesn't even.
burrito like really and truly exploded, it was a bad burrito. It wasn't rolled properly.
Yeah,
I hate
Chipotle.
to nitpick, but
No,
here I am.
no, do it. Nitpick. Okay, what did you rate the book in its entirety?
I'm gonna give it a 1 star. Like I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I don't like it.
If you guys can't see me, I am what's silent laughing. I'm silent laughing because that's hysterical. That I rated this book higher than you. I gave it 2. And I don't know why. I think I gave it 2 because I felt bad giving it 1. But I also
I
like I gave
I
it
do too.
2.
Like I don't take this lightly. Like really don't. Like I don't give out 1 star. It's very lightly, but it's
No.
honestly the offensive I would have like if she had not put in like the smoking while pregnant and trying to like insert herself as a non-racist,
Yeah.
I may have bumped it up to a 2, but those two things like really sent me.
Yeah. See, no, I agree with you. The reason I gave it a 2 is because I do think Hannah Brown, like I gave it a 2 for the potential. Like I think she has potential. Like nobody's first book of any genre is going to be great.
No, and I
So
don't
I
hold
think she's
somebody to
got potential.
those. Now I'm going to counter because I don't hold someone to those kind of like like I wouldn't hold her to like a, a summer legend. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a summer book legend. I'm not holding her to those standards. I know this is her first book. It's more of like I think it's a personal problem.
Maybe she just shouldn't be writing books.
And the writing content, I'm just like, how did this make it across?
I think I'm so sorry. I think I also gave it a 2 because I do think that I would have liked this book more if I was reading it. However, I really liked the narrator and like I did have
Mm.
fun like every morning for a few days. I listened to the book and I had like a really good time. That's why I gave it a 2 was because I did enjoy like as much as I hated the story and I hated what was happening, like I had a good time listening and I felt like I was because she was so descriptive, I felt like I was like watching a TV show, a really bad TV
Oh,
show. I
yeah.
felt like I was watching a very bad TV show, but I was like, I had a good time. Like you know what, the narrator, I'm gonna look her up. She gets my 2 stars because she did fine
See, and
and she
that can
painted my
really
picture.
change. I was rushed to finish this. I have a crick in my neck. Like maybe my settings are
And
like not ideal, but
yeah.
even if I had ideal settings, I'm reading this on the beach, unbothered. It
Yeah.
would bother me.
Yeah, see, yeah, I think I listened to it in the most ideal settings. Like I was at the
Yeah,
pool
I
listening,
think you had good setting.
I was in the car listening. And so I think that that bumped it up for me because I was in a good headspace to be like listening to it. But even though it was a good listen, it wasn't a good story. And
And
that's
that's
it.
all she wrote.
And that's all she
That's
wrote.
and that's all she should write, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
really I I want to say that I would maybe read Sybil's story just because I felt so bad for
Mm,
Jamie. Like I want to know. I do genuinely want to know. Like
she
does
got you.
does Jamie ever figure out that she left on their wedding weekend? Where did she go and how did she break that news to him? And what is her medical story that only Finn knows? And does Jamie know that? Is she going into a marriage keeping a huge medical secret from her spouse? These are
With
the
another
answers I
man
need. What?
who is now married.
Yeah, we have questions. And honestly,
No
we don't want
thanks,
the answers.
because none of these characters have any moral regard. And like I have to root for someone. Like I
That's
have
it.
to like be behind someone, and no one my husband always says that about books. Like if he can't root for or TV shows, like that's why we never got into what's the Western show that everybody
Yellowstone.
watches? Yellowstone.
I
We
never
made it
started
3 episodes, and he was like, "These guys are all terrible," and I was like, "You're right."
We don't have anyone to
And
root
everyone's like,
for.
"Oh, he's so amazing, Rip," and I'm like,
And
he kind of like harasses his family.
he's kind of a horrible person. Well,
It's
and
kind of
that's
terrible.
like I can also like in like Rabbit Hole, I could really root for this like kind of awful character because the outcome was there because they had good potential and we were seeing the process.
Yes.
But it
And the
was such a
character was
backwards
endeared to
process.
me. The
Yes.
character, like her flaws were endearing to me because, like,
Mm-hmm.
they were of her circle. Like,
And she was figuring them out. She was learning the flaws. Like,
and I will say Emma didn't come from the best background. Like her dad was absent. She took on a lot of responsibility when she was younger. However, she did have like a very active mom who loved her very much and like helped and did like provide everything for her, provided her to go to college and everything like that. So to me, it wasn't like a woe is me type character that I was like,
but she wanted it to be.
she wanted to be, and that's what was like the huge miss for me.
Yeah. Like I agree.
Because a woe is me character like doesn't go around acting like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So sorry.
Sorry. I feel like Kevin Hart with the roast right now.
I had a fun time eating the roast, the carrots, the potatoes. I'm ready to do the dishes and never see it again.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, did you have a favorite part of the book? Like a favorite scene?
Don't ask me.
All right. No favorite scene.
I don't.
She was so ready to be done with this book. I'm going to have to like rack my brain because I do think maybe there was a good scene in there, but
I guess I liked imagining being at a resort.
yeah. Oh, you know what it was?
In Southern California.
In SoCal. You know what it was for me was when she forced the man, Finn, to in his like he's like wearing khakis when she forced him to get on like a paddle board with her and go out to sea to find Sybil, and it's not even Sybil. And I was just like the delusion.
And then like refusing. She loses her own paddle. Then paddles to go get it, then paddles to get them home. I actually kind of did connect with her in that scene. I was like, I might do that.
Well, but
I am that level of stubborn, but like, I wouldn't have fainted.
It's
a little bit tougher than Emma.
A little bit. But also, like, no matter how terrible your eyesight is, you can see that there's no way this woman, was that far that she thought, oh, it might be Sybil, but I'm not sure. And like, let me just paddle all the way out there. Like,
if we're being honest, like this whole thing is like a ruse. I thought for a minute it was like Sybil's ruse to get Emma and them together, to spend time together.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
And I was like, okay, that could be like honestly, I think I would have given it a 2 if that had been the like case, because then it would like imply that Sybil thinks truly that Emma is a selfless person and like, I don't know, like wants to do something for her.
I agree completely.
But not.
I would have loved if that was the turn it took, because I was thinking it would go. Why is it doing the thumbs up? I don't know.
Listen, we don't want balloons or thumbs up when it comes to this book.
No, we want burritos being thrown and thumbs down. Sorry, Hannah Brown.
Sorry, Hannah Brown. It wasn't nice reading your book. And yeah. I'm unfollowing her on Instagram.
Whoa, I don't even follow her to begin with.
Well,
I don't think. And we're not.
I wish you could do something in solidarity with me.
I don't think I do. I'm going to check while I say my next statement. But
I just hate that I paid for this book, that I gave her the money, that really bothers me. That I gave money to this book that was like maybe racist and like also promotes women
Uh-huh.
smoking during pregnancy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't pay for it and I don't follow her. Yeah, sorry, I got the free version. Um hate that for you, Halle Bell. I do want to say that we
At least we
could
didn't pay for 2 copies. Like
oh
at
my
least
god,
she only got like one.
can you imagine? I
And I
think
hope that none of our readers buy copies or
no.
listeners.
Well, okay, that's what I was gonna say. I thought this whole time, I was like writing down like titles. I was like, we could use this episode as such clickbait, but we're not going to. We're just gonna say chatting about whatever mistakes we never made. But we very well could be like 1 star book by the company, you know?
I think we should.
You think we should?
I think we should. I think people need to know. I think a lot of people are buying this because they're Hannah Brown
That's
fans.
what I'm saying.
And I honestly think that we should be like our first 1 star.
Okay, I'm here for it.
I'm
Sorry.
down with the roast continuing.
Me too, because Hannah Brown, I'm sorry, last comment. She has never had a solid fan base. Like, she has fans here
Yeah.
and there, and she has so much potential. And I thought that this book would really like tie it all together and like
Like
give me,
United. Yeah.
yeah, unite her fan base. And it didn't do that at all. Like, it didn't even, there was nothing. Like, there was nothing elevating Hannah Brown for me.
No, this didn't elevate. This made me think like, is she a little like something's wrong with her?
Are we gonna get canceled?
Okay. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. And
It's
we
it's
can
our
say what
podcast.
we want.
It's our podcast. We can say whatever we want, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry to hate on an author because, like, it's not
There's
your
a lot of
fault.
authors out there that would love the cushion publicity that this book received
Yeah,
for an actually good book like Abby Jimenez. I'm gonna like just drop her name again. Like
do
she's
it.
amazing, and she like released this book that like is my book of the summer. Like it's so good and like
What is it?
normalizes very good behaviors of like people being unhealthy but then getting help and like
Ooh, will
you
you
know
send me
just like
that?
it's so good. Just for the summer is like
Oh,
the
is that
best
it?
book of the summer. Yeah.
Okay, I'm here for it. I just think that there are, and I'm gonna take it there because
Okay.
I'm one of them. There are too many influencers in the world that have a say in books because
Yes.
these people are out here just giving away copies for positive reviews on NetGalley, or not on NetGalley, on Goodreads. And we don't need that. We
Yes.
need the honest reviews. And that's why I'm glad. I actually requested this book on NetGalley and I didn't get it. But lucky for them, I
Shocker.
didn't. Shocker. Lucky for them, I didn't get it. But it's like, we don't need these influencers out here giving horrible advice just because they got the book for free. Like,
It's gonna make me second guess like an influencer read.
yes, agree completely. The book influencers and just influencers in general that I trust the most are the ones that give bad reviews. Like,
Yes.
if you're coming to me and telling me that every single book you read
Is a 5 star.
is a 4 or 5 star book, I'm sorry, but I don't trust you.
And you shouldn't listen to this podcast if you want to hear good things about every single book.
You shouldn't listen to this podcast if you want to hear good things. You shouldn't listen to this
I'm just
podcast if you
kidding
want to
because
hear
actually we're
lies.
very real people and we're really nice. And
We
like
are
I
nice.
I mean we're really and I'm like I'm not giving something lower than a 3 in a really long time.
No. And Halle Bell, I think your selflessness shows, especially in how you view this book, because you see the good in everything, and you're also so realistic, and that's why you're giving this book such a low star because you're seeing the
This book
selfishness.
was triggering to me
Oh, I know.
because of like the selfishness that I am like surrounded with in the world and just like girls out there that are promoting like just bad behavior for other women and like setting bad standards and unhealthy like drinking habits and unhealthy relationships and unhealthy like this
Yeah.
book had it all for me.
Yeah.
Like it was just an unhealthy book.
And a lot of young, like when I say young, I mean like early 20s. A lot of early 20s girls are going to, and I can say that now because I'm in my mid 20s, are going to
Yeah.
read this book because Hannah Brown wrote it, and they are going to take away toxic behaviors.
And this was what I was saying with Emily Henry in The Happy Place. I
Oh,
like it was
don't
that for me.
don't get me started.
It was that for me. Like it
I
was like
agree.
okay, like shoot
Where's
for more.
I shoot for
You're a
more.
doctor.
Who can I root for? Yeah, exactly. Like what positive behaviors can I encourage?
We've just read too many authors that are like out there doing some good lately, and for
Mhm.
me, this was just like promoting bad behavior and party culture and just like not taking life. Like I'm not a party pooper.
No, you're
Like
not. Oh my God. You're like the most fun person.
I am really fun. I just like don't love it when it's like being toxic. Like when it's literally like
Of course.
drinking all every second. She's like dropping about tequila or whiskey or whatever. Like they're just like drinking, 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 and everybody's having problems. And that's when you stop drinking, is when you are
Mhm.
like
Oh,
noticing that everyone's having problems, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I agree.
that's that.
Well,
That's your mom advice.
that's your mom advice from your local Halle Bell.
Look out, mountain mom.
Mountain Mama. Should we debate our next book right here live on the air? What we should read next?
Ooh. I just
Because
don't have anything. I was trying to look earlier today. I got a
I
little rabbit hole. Do you have something?
I do. Now hear me
Oh,
out.
perfect.
I have two ideas for you.
Okay.
I'm really into these like small cheesy rom-com authors right now. There's a couple that I follow and they're both adorable and they're so like it's just they're that's exactly it. It's cheesy rom-coms, but they're small. They're small authors
I love.
and they're very active and like they are very interactive with their fan base. So that is one of my
Ooh.
suggestions. I'm reading
Maybe
one
we
of
could
them
get him
right
on the
now.
show.
No, I've already talked to one
Oh,
like months ago.
perfect.
She was so sweet. Not I didn't already talk to her, but like we message. She follows me. Like we talk all the time. She's so
Oh,
sweet. But
perfect.
that is my second option. My first option that I think we should read. Well, I already read it, but I think you should read it. It is this young adult. Hear me out. It's a young adult fantasy book.
Okay.
I
Let's do
only
the
think
second option.
I only hear me out, Halle Bell.
And at some point, we're doing Swan Song, and I don't care what you say.
No, I think we should.
Okay.
You know what else we could do is the Anne Hathaway one.
Ooh, yes,
But
the idea of you.
the idea of you, we could do that. We could do the idea of you. The only reason I say that about the young adult fantasy one is because it's blowing up right now.
What's it
And
called?
it's called Heartless Hunter. I already read it. It's about like, you'll hate it actually. It's about like witch versus witch hunter. And like both characters are morally gray. And like there's like brothers or like your boyfriend's brother is involved and like it's just like a cheesy little like fantasy book and it's a very quick read. I don't
I'll
know, I'm
do
just
anything for you after this
no.
because I feel like I put us in this boat.
Well, you've put me in a couple boats, not to throw you.
I have,
You
and I'm
have.
really, really sorry.
What was the other boat you threw me? What was the bus you pushed me in front of?
Fangirl down.
Oh. Stop.
Okay,
No.
our next book
Okay.
is a fantasy book.
No, it doesn't have to be. I'm gonna send you a few options and
Okay.
maybe you could see.
Okay, maybe
Or
we can do a vote.
oh, maybe we do a poll. I also just got Fourth Wing. If do you know about that?
The Fourth Wing.
You're not interested. Okay, never mind. It's
I
too
just
long.
don't want. I tried to go there. I really did. I started the first chapter, and everybody says it's like, "Oh, get through the first chapter," and it's just like, I just didn't want to do it.
See, now I could also do an episode on just like really popular books recently because
Okay.
I feel like there have been a few that I've read that I have heavily disagreed with people on and I could just talk for hours about that. But Anyway,
I would love that. And I could facilitate it. I could be like, this
Yeah.
one, this one, this one.
this one, this one, this one. Okay, well, let's think of our options. I'll send you a few I would recommend. You send me a few you would recommend, and then let's pick 2 from each person's list and maybe do a poll on the Instagram.
I love that.
Because,
Because I've got a chance.
let our 100 subscriber,
No,
our
I'm
100
serious.
followers
You're
pick.
next. You're next. We can just pick.
I don't
You're
even know.
next. I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's
This
also
is
been-
like, this is my love letter to you because of all
I
the
mean-
bad things that have happened recently.
Oh, not bad, not bad. I also I read that fantasy book quite a few months ago, so maybe I shouldn't do that one. But I'm gonna look through my books, and
Okay.
you know what I would love, and it'll never happen. I would love for Halle Bell to read the spiciest book I've ever read, and then us talk about it because I know it would never happen. Look, she's cringing right now even talking about it. She's gonna throw up. She's gonna throw up. I think. Wait, that should be an episode. Is just us reading lines from our favorite books that we know the other person would hate, and trying not to cringe.
That's a good idea.
It's a really good idea.
We also need
Put
to
a
get
pin in
Greg
that.
on here.
Yeah, we gotta get. I want Greg and I want Ellie back.
Yeah. We'll make it happen for you guys this summer. I know you guys love the another co-host, so
Yeah.
we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. Things are happening.
Don't
Stay
twist
tuned.
our arm.
We have Halle Bell back on FaceTime because her phone died. But that's all. That's all we have to say.
I don't want to give it any more time.
No, we can't. We'll let everybody know what our next book is, or we'll put a poll up. So stay tuned. And thanks for listening to the roast.
Love you guys.
Not even the roast. Thanks for listening to the honesty. Okay, that's all.
Bye.
Bye. The text I just got in regards to our episode. Have fun! ! Keep your energy up! ! Smile! ! That is it.
Do they listen to the episodes?
Oh, wait. I actually also need to tell you this. Oh, I hope it still says. The other day, I posted on my Instagram story and I was like, need an audiobook recommendation. And someone responded. I said, your fave audiobooks. And someone responded and said, your podcast.
So nice.
That's the cutest thing ever. Yeah.
I love our
Very-
fans.
Our fan base. You guys are the best. We wouldn't be where we are today without you guys.
No, seriously. And if you haven't already, follow, subscribe.
Turn on notifications. Turn on your notifications.
Turn
Come
on your notifications because you won't want to miss a moment.
Who do we think we are? You won't want to miss a moment.
Professionalism. We need Ellie here to hold us to a higher standard.
Yeah, because she has a printer.
Production value.
She has a printer.
She printed stuff out for this.
I literally sent the Gall link 4 minutes ago. Did you notice that? I just sent it. I was peeing and I was like, oh, I forgot to send that. Let me do that real quick.